On today's episode of Warehouse B, we've got something we'd like to play for you. It's Videodrome, and we're going to talk about it next.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Warehouse B, Macho Movie Madness. This is episode 48, and we're talking Videodrome, starring James Woods, and released in 1983. This I just literally watched for the very first time, and wow.
Opened your eyes just a little bit?
Yeah, I think I'm hallucinating right now. So this was a David Cronenberg film. He's got some weird stuff, man. The Fly, and what was the other one?
He's done The Dead Zone, The Brood,
Yeah.
Eastern Promises more recently.
Scanners, right, too.
Scanners, History of Violence.
Yeah. So he's got quite a few films. I mean, and this is no different, man. This is weird as shit. And I think the budget was pretty small, but it didn't make anything at the box office either.
It just made a couple $1 million, I think.
At the box office, yeah, and I think it was like a $5 million budget, so it lost money. So it's become a cult classic since.
Yes.
Well, actually, one of our coworkers absolutely loves this film.
Yeah, shout out to you. You know who you are.
Yeah. So she's gonna get this first time reaction from me since I just finished it, and I don't want to disappoint her, but wow is all I can say. I don't hate it.
It's very interesting.
It's one of those things that it's so weird and provocative that I'm just like, I've got to keep watching to see what's going on. Other than that, I don't know what it was that I saw, but I just kept going. It's like a train wreck. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Right.
I will say that. It's not Night Beast.
No, it's leagues better than Night Beast.
Yeah. And, thanks to James Woods being an incredible actor, very versatile. He's amazing in this. Even if you don't know what the hell's going on, he is selling that character. Yeah, I believe that James Woods knew what was going on. Yeah. He understood the plot enough to act well. And then of course you got Debbie Harry, Blondie, in this movie, which is awesome.
Yeah,
cool. A naked one at that.
Woo. One way or another.
Yeah, gonna find you. Gonna get you. So let's break this down real quick. Well, the best we can. Let's talk about the plot.
Okay. So James Woods plays this TV executive named Max Wren. He helps run Civic TV, and they run kind of this slimy station where they show real provocative stuff, and like they bring in this Japanese pornographer who shows them this softcore stuff. And it's not hard enough. And he's looking for the next big thing. He runs onto Videodrome, which he's got this technician that's caught this illegal feed that they think's in the Far East, and turns out it's out of Pittsburgh. Yeah. And you don't know what's real and what's not. The feed makes him hallucinate, and it's telling him what to do. It's really an allegory on how the media controls us. Yeah. As far as violence and the weird sexual stuff that gets a hold of people. And right. People would really look down on Cronenberg for like the violence in his movies, Scanners with the heads blowing up and other things like that. But I think this was him giving it back to all of his critics. Right. Because this is David Cronenberg, and if you've ever seen any of his movies, he don't give a shit.
No, about anything.
No. And the box office reflects that. Made $2 million, but it's also artistic purity on his part, and he finally became a big director. Through Reputation. But yeah, I think this is him giving it back to us. I think it's best stated actually after he goes to the Superior Optical place and they have that big meeting for all like the investors, and he's like the eye is the window into the soul. And if you constantly feed it with sex and violence, that's what you're going to become.
Right.
And that's ultimately the tragic end to Max Wren in this movie. Right. That's kind of how I take it. Everybody out there might take it differently, but
yeah. I guess when you break it down like that, if you really study it, then I would agree with that. I think the first time through, you're like, what?
Yeah, you're just trying to,
because it's just so weird. It's done in such a weird way, and it's a horrific way, and it's so I guess it's the subject matter is a little lost.
Yeah,
that first time through, because you're just trying to figure out what the hell all this weird shit is. Because you add elements of sci-fi and horror into this, and the body horror and all, and it just it's a new spin, and it's just weird. But when you put it that way, I think I would agree. I think that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah,
at least that's what it feels like.
And I had to watch this like 2 or 3 times to kind of come to that conclusion. Like the first time I'm like, what in the world is going on here? He's hallucinating, like he's slapping around his assistant in his apartment, and it turns out it's actually Debbie Harry, and then it's not, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah. And he didn't slap her at all.
Right.
Yeah, actually.
Better go see what's in my bed.
Yeah. There's nothing in your bed, dude. So, yeah, and of course, his assistant, his guy that worked with him that showed him Videodrome, lied to him this whole time, spoiler alert, and he never watched the Videodrome footage.
Right, it was all a tape.
Yeah. And I did find it interesting, though, that the ones that they made Videodrome, that this hallucination feeding thing, explained that the receptors in your brain are susceptible to Videodrome when the brain is subjected to certain content. So when you see the smut, when you see the violence, it triggers the receptors in your brain, which then allows Videodrome effects to take hold. Yeah. Which would, instill the visions, the hallucinations, and this is tumor. Yeah. That they talk about. And the guy who got involved, the older man.
About Brian Oblivion?
Oblivion was the first victim, I guess.
Yeah.
And his daughter plays a role in this too.
I like how he's died a year ago, but he's still showing up on talk shows because she keeps playing these tapes that he's recorded just before his death. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting how they're using media to slant them.
But then the way they played that too, they played like with Max's hallucinations. So when he watches these videos of Brian Oblivion, Brian's talking to him, calling him Max. So either he's aware that this is going to take place at some point, or he's hallucinating that he's talking to him. There's a lot of bending of reality in this too, not just from his perspective, but the viewer's perspective. There's a lot of bending in reality. You don't really know either what the hell is real and what's not real. Yeah. At times, and it gets confusing, but it's interesting. Yeah. So we got the kind of the plot down. What's some of your pros and cons of this movie?
I like the subtext, like the part where, he's got the gun, and which that whole part's weird, how he's got the vag in his stomach with the gun. Yeah, but I like how he's got the gun, attaches itself to his hand, and, he becomes one with the device, basically. Kind of like how we are every day with these things and feed our eyes. And, I'm not trying to get on a high horse, but I can see the comparisons there. I can see that. So I like that.
I love the effects.
The effects in this movie were done by Rick Baker, a couple years off of American Werewolf in London. Yeah. Just did a really good job.
Yeah, and practical effects are amazing. Definitely nasty, but really good.
Toronto's always kind of a different setting for everything, which I think most of his movies are shot in Toronto because he's Canadian.
I agree with that. I kind of like the overall presence and feeling of the movie, as weird as it is. I like how it was shot. Toronto is a different kind of space for most. We don't see that. Yeah. So that was nice. What about some cons?
This movie's not for everybody. So you're on Warehouse B, so you have a different taste than most people, so you'll probably like this, but this is not for the masses. And my wife, I watched it with her one time, she's like, don't ever make me watch that again. Yeah. And so I'm surprised your girlfriend took to it. It's quite like she did.
Well, I think a lot of that's just she's like, I don't.
I can't look away.
I just don't. I'm invested. I don't know what the hell's going on, but this is weird.
Which is strangely like Videodrome in a way. You can't look away. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't know what the hell I'm watching, but I'm watching it.
But yeah, Khan's in the movie. It's very nihilistic. So like, if you're not into that, which it doesn't bother me as much, this isn't a happy-go-lucky movie. So as far as that goes, this might not be for you. But I'm having trouble thinking of just normal cons for this thing.
It's weird because you're not going to get your normal cons in this because it's going to be so out there for most people that they're just going to be like, I can't. Because he's fascinated by the smut that he sees in Videodrome, and I think, I guess in a way it does play on most human beings because you are naturally kind of drawn to the bad things in life. Like, you're curious, even if you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So I think it plays on people's darker sides that maybe they don't want to really be a part of that, and it's not their thing, but they are probably at least intrigued by. I think it's the same feeling that most people get by going and driving down the street after there was a wildfire or a tornado. You want to look. You want to look. You want to see the devastation. You don't want to see it. You hate it. It's a mixed emotions, but I think it's something that plays on people. It's I don't even know how to explain the psychology of it, but it's definitely something that people are very naturally intrigued by things like that.
Yeah,
even though it's usually because somebody else is a victim, but it's not them, so they're like, well, this is kind of interesting to me. I kind of like seeing this. I like seeing devastation. I like seeing somebody get murdered or on a TV show. I like seeing the action, the violence. I like seeing, somebody else's anguish because it's not mine. I guess maybe you want to get a sense of what it's like without actually feeling it because you don't want that hurt, but you want to know in a way to prepare yourself. I don't know. It's a weird thing that people...
I think when you turn that inward and internalize it, I think that's what Cronenberg's trying to say with this whole thing.
Right.
The only other thing, we talked about it, you guys were watching it when I came in. I'd seen it before, but like the scene where the spectacular optical guys are, I've got a tape I want to play for you. And so they give him, and he's doing their bidding, and then Bianca Oblivion tells him, I've got something I want to play for you. And just the turning... wasn't well explained.
I'll give you that. And that one's because I mentioned it earlier when we were finishing it up. It was like, at what point was she able to catch him off guard? And then he shot him. It was like shot in the chest, and it's always painful removing the Videodrome. But I got something else for you, and like so there was some kind of like sleight of hand switch there.
Yeah, maybe
where all of a sudden she's like, he's doing her bidding now. You got to destroy Videodrome, and it was more or less not about destroying Videodrome or not. I don't know if he completely destroyed Videodrome, but at least he took out the people that took out her father, and you kind of ruined him. And apparently, according to Nikki Brand at the end, ascended to the next level. Yeah, by offing yourself. Right, that's so bleak. Alert. It's a weird thing, but I definitely am curious to hear what other people think about it. Do you have anything else to say about the movie? I thought the score was all right too. Yeah, I thought the score was pretty atmospheric. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was doing some reading that after Scanners, David Cronenberg was actually, they came to him to do Return of the Jedi. Can you imagine? No. Return of the Jedi in the style of David Cronenberg. Definitely not. Definitely not. Especially when he made this, like, not right this after. Early. Yeah, not this early. Because that was the same year. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Same year, 83. Same year. So, that'd be wild. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? No, I think it's an interesting movie, and I think, if you're here on Warehouse B, I think you should give it a look. Yeah. But I think if you're curious about cult movies in general, you should probably watch this movie. Yeah. I'm going to, on a Warehouse B scale, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. That might be a little high for a movie that's as strange as it is, but it's got a lot of big ideas in it. Yeah, I don't know where I would place it. It's not Night Beast bad. It's not, but it's not like, plain Jane, forgettable Leprechaun. Right. So I can't even say it's not good, I guess. Just sitting there thinking about it. It's not good. It's just not for you. It's just, maybe it's not for me, or it's not something I would watch multiple times. But the messaging when you really break it down and you think about it, I do appreciate the messaging.
Yeah.
It's just done in such a weird way. But sometimes art's like that. So I wouldn't say this is a masterpiece on the B movie variety, but it's
solid.
It's solid. I'd give it probably a 3.5.
Yeah.
Myself. It's a solid B movie. It's wild.
Yeah,
it's
some
different.
Great acting by James Woods.
And he really is, he is so good. Dude.
Yeah.
James Wood is so good, and he fits this role perfectly because he kind of comes off as a weird guy
marmy
anyway.
Executive. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird guy anyway. And I like James Woods a lot.
Yeah.
He just kind of comes off that way. Weird looking, weird acting kind of guy, but he's so good. So yeah, 3.5, I think pretty solid.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think we pretty well covered it. Let us know what you think of Videodrome down in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. Definitely let us know what you think of Videodrome. Weird ass movie. What we got coming up next?
Night of the Twisters. We're going to do next.
Episode 49.
So, yeah.
Night of Twisters. Yeah. This was a big movie for me as a kid. You know, I loved natural disaster movies. Twisters, one of my favorite movies. And growing up, this was like on the Family Channel. Back when it was still the Family Channel, before it like converged and became like ABC Family. And it was just a Canadian TV movie that they threw on there. And Devon Sawa, John Schneider. I can't remember her name, but the mom is from
Lori Hallier. She is from
My Bloody
Valentine.
Yeah, it's the mom.
Yeah, about as far removed from Videodrome as you can get. This movie.
And of course the younger, yeah, exactly. Anyway, before I get on a tangent, we'll get out of here. But yeah, be on the lookout for Night of Twisters. Really cool movie. I can't wait to talk about that next time. So until then,
long live the new flesh.